Good morning, guys. How are you all today? What a beautiful morning it is. It's still a little bit chilly, but it's not too cold where I feel like I have to rug up or anything. It's really starting to get into spring, and then I'm starting to feel that warmer weather. And I gotta say, all the seeds that I've been planting, they've been coming up, and it's been bringing me so much joy just to see all these new plants that are evolving and germinating, and knowing that I'm going to get some really good food from them in the next few months is just, it's so heartwarming, and it's so nice. And like I said in one of my other blogs, isn't it amazing how a tiny seed can provide you with such nourishing foods? And that's one thing I really love about gardening and getting out and just being part of the earth and doing these things. This week has been a rough week for me. I'm feeling extremely tired and exhausted. I think it's just because Sunday was such a big day with Father's Day, and then I've worked all week, and it's just been a go process. So I really am feeling a fair bit of my adrenal fatigue today. So I'm gonna try and take it a little bit easier today, and just chill a little bit and just enjoy the garden for what it is, and not do too much strenuous work in it, even though there is so much that I want to do. But I'll go and take you on a little tour of all the things that have changed in the garden, and we can have a look and explore, and maybe you guys can give me some suggestions on a few things that I can do as well. If you have any suggestions for some of my areas, that'd be fantastic. I could just sit here for hours and just looking at the garden. It is so peaceful and lovely out here of a morning. It makes everything really worthwhile. I've been thinking for ages, what am I going to do in this area here between of the wood chip area where it goes to the garden beds. We are eventually going to put in a couple more garden beds along here to match the retaining wall ones, so we're going to bring that all the way along. But I thought, you know what, this is a waste. I've got the space now. It's not lawn, so I can plant things in there, and we don't plan on getting the garden beds anytime too soon. So I thought I need to plant something in here and utilize the space. So I went out the other day, and I've been thinking for ages on what I'm going to put here, and then yesterday I was at a local nursery, and I thought, you know what, why not, let's put some zucchinis in here. So I went and purchased 4 seedlings, and then I've got another 2 over there as well of these Golden Rush zucchinis. I planted them out here yesterday, and it was getting late in the evening, and I was talking to Matt, and I thought, now that we have beautiful boy Ace, I'm going to have to put a little bit of a fence around it till they establish a bit more and become a bit bigger, and then I'll take the fence down and it'll look better, just so that while they're smaller he doesn't run over them. This radish that I've let go to seed is just, it's rambling everywhere, but it has so many flowers on it, and it's bringing in the bees and all the little native bush bees as well. I just really love this season where things go to flower and you can bring in all those beneficial insects, and the garden just feels like my happy place. I really love it. I added to the garden, I don't know whether you can see this very well, I've got 3 little tomato seedlings. Now these are black Russian tomatoes, so they're planted next to the yellow and the red one that I have going up the trellis. So I'm gonna keep these 3 pruned nicely and I can't wait because they've got a darker, a richer skinned tomato, and a bigger tomato, more for slicing for sandwiches and stuff like that. This first garden is actually looking a little bit sparse. There's not a huge amount in it. Oh, I forgot. When I got the Black Russian tomatoes, I also got just an okra, because it was by four seedlings for, I forget how much it was. And I knew I only wanted the 3 tomatoes because I didn't have space for 4 tomatoes. So I thought I'd try okra. In the past, I haven't really liked it. It hasn't been my favourite vegetable to grow, but I've heard that it's really, really good for your gut because of, the sliminess that you get when you cook okra. That's meant to be really good for your stomach and your gut. So I'm going to give it a go this year. Just the one plant will be quite sufficient just to see how we go. And then if we end up liking it, next season we'll plant more of them. But like I said, this garden bed is looking pretty sparse. We've still got the kales and the curly leaf cabbage, and they're coming along. They're heading nicely, and they'll be finished up. Like they'll get to full size soon, and they'll come out. And I'm thinking I might plant, because I've had a whole heap of capsicum seedlings come up. I think I might put a whole heap of capsicums in this one because it gets lots of sunlight. It'll be shaded a little bit from the trellis, but because it's on at this end of the garden, it's going to get the sun until the sun goes down. So from when it gets up to when it goes down, this is the sunniest part of our garden. So I think the capsicums will do really well, and maybe that little bit of cover might deter the fruit flies, because now that it's getting warmer, they're going to start coming out. And I'm going to do some research into traps for it. But the older lady across the road, she makes up a Vegemite mix, so I might go and talk to her and ask her. I think it's just Vegemite and water, and it just attracts them and then they drown in it. But I might have a chat to her and see exactly what she does, and I might put a few of those out just to try and prevent the fruit fly and the spoiling of our harvest. In preparation of putting capsicums in this bed, I planted along this bit here some seeds of a long red, like a really long red capsicum that I bought from the shop. So I'm not sure if anything will germinate there or not, but I've put it in and we'll see what happens. I'm still really waiting to see whether I get any germination from these long white cucumbers that I planted here the other day. I got a whole heap of tomatoes. It did get a little bit dry at one point, so I'm not too sure whether that has hindered the germination or not, but we will wait and find out, I guess. Patience. Must be patient. This is one plant I am extremely happy to see that's in flower. It's the small leaf kale that's actually quite tender and quite sweet all year round. But the reason I am so happy to see it in flower is I've never got it to go to flower and then to seed before, but I also don't have any more of these seeds, so I'm really hoping that it produces some good flowers and then some really nice seeds, and I get to save them and continue on with this really delicious kale. I'm going to see how my energy levels go over the weekend, but I actually really want to clear out a lot of this bed and make room for the fresh spring and summer crops to go in here. I'm going to keep the kale and the basil. I'll keep one of these broccolis just so that I can gather the seeds from it. I'm going to take out all of these mustard greens. The bees have had an absolute feast on them. I have some more mustard greens that have gone to flower and seed out the front, so I'll keep the ones out the front for seed savings, and I'll compost all of these. I noticed the other day I still have one really nice side head of broccoli coming on there, so I'll pick that in the next few days as well and use it in dinner. I actually have a plan that in the next few days I am going to come out and do a harvest clip for you guys, where I'm going to harvest my beetroots and my carrots and this broccoli and some kale and stuff, and plus some meat out of the freezer, and that's what's going to be mine and Matt's dinner for that day, so that all the veggies are 100% out of our garden, and I can say I grew all of this, and that's just actually a really nice feeling to know that pretty much everything that I put on my plate I've grown. And then I'll come out and I'll harvest the cabbages, because I've got this one and another couple and a drum cabbage, oh no, sugarloaf I think it is. So I'll come out and I'll harvest them and I'll turn them into a sauerkraut. But I have so much. I really have quite a bit of kale on at the moment. Both the curly leaf and the I don't know what this one's called, but the one with the purple vein. And then also over here I've got stacks of kale on this one as well, so I think I'll do a great big harvest and make a kale kraut while I'm doing the sauerkraut. My transplanted cucumbers, they are coming along quite nicely. I think they've started to settle in there nicely, and I'm just waiting for them to shoot up. Now when I've got some energy once again over the weekend, I'm going to get rid of all these snow peas and sugar snap that are here. That's really kind of come to the end of its game, and what it's putting out isn't too fantastic and great anymore. So I'll go through and just pick it all off, and then put it into the compost. I have some tomato seeds that I want to put in. I think the tomato seeds are ox heart, but when I put them in I'll let you know. And so I want to take that out and then put the tomatoes in here. But yeah, there's all the beetroots and the carrots. I'm going to go through and thin all of that and just really start making room for some more of the summer crop, because all of these things are starting to, well, some of them, they're starting to die out. The jalapenos, they have come along nicely, and it looks like we've got some budding happening there. And oh, look, just in here, looks like I'm going to have some fruit on that. The capsicums seems to settled in. Oh, and there's a flower about to come out on that one as well. So like, this spring garden is just starting to look so beautiful and magical. And it is time to Icy boy, would you back out off the garden. He still needs to learn a little bit. He can't go in these gardens, but he's actually pretty good. Things are starting to come along, but yes, as the winter things finish up, and like this bok choy, I'm gonna leave a couple of them in so that I can really get the seeds from these, so that we can plant them next year. I pulled out all of the cauliflowers that were in here that were just bolting to seed, and I'm going to prep this garden, and I'm actually not too sure what I'm going to put in this one yet. Let's sit down and have a chat to Matt. I got super excited the other day. I didn't think that the zucchinis that I planted out, the seeds that I planted out into this bed, were going to survive. I didn't think they were going to germinate at all, but it appears they have. But then as I'm looking at them today, there's something attacking my seedlings, and I'm not happy about it. I don't know what to do. I'm thinking I might need to cover them up for a few days, just so that they can really pop out and establish, and whatever little critters coming in and eating them can't get to them. But I'll turn you around and I'll show you. I'm super happy that they actually sprouted. Can you see that in there? Look at it. And I've got some more over here, and an itty bitty one just in here that I didn't notice until just now when I'm out in the garden. This is the one that sprouted the other day, and I just noticed that one of its leaves is not looking too good. It's actually been eaten by something, so I'm just not too sure. We'll see what happens. We'll keep a close eye on it and see what the progress is as they start to get bigger. Fingers crossed that my zucchinis actually come up. I think maybe I've got another one sprouting just here as well. Super exciting. I truly have some lovely customers that I deal with at work, and I was at one of my customers' houses the other day, and she brought up these tomatoes, and they were a yellowy colour, but they had a pinky red blush on them, and I just had to ask her. I asked her what sort of tomatoes they were, and she told me they were an heirloom pineapple tomato, and I went, oh wow, that sounds so exciting and amazing. And she had a couple of plants, and she let me go down and take a couple of the suckers off, and now I have them growing in my bed. A couple of days in from being transplanted out here into my garden, I took off a whole heap of the bottom leaves and planted them quite deep, because tomatoes, wherever they touch the ground, they will put out roots. So these little beauties will be putting out lots of roots and establishing a good root system for me now. So I don't expect them to grow any taller for a little bit. I expect them to put in all their energy into doing their roots and establishing a good healthy plant. But I can't wait till these grow up the trellis and I start getting some of these pineapple tomatoes, and I can't wait to be able to do the same thing for someone else, and to share pieces of my garden with my friends and new things that I have and discover. And I'm pretty sure that one friend of mine who has a beautiful garden as well, she doesn't have quite as many garden beds as I do, but she's very good at the garden beds that she has. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to give her a piece of this pineapple tomato, and she can grow it, and then I'll save seeds for next season as well, and so that I've always got it. I haven't in the past been a huge seed saver. I've been able to do it, and I've always been able to have a lot of volunteer plants come up because I've always let things go to seed. But I've never been a huge plant the seeds and start from the beginning. For me it was kind of like, there's too much energy to try and tend and care for them and get them to sprout and everything. But this year I've just got this change of heart that it is wonderful to be able to put a seed in and watch it grow from the beginning and see how it establishes. And I'm not doing any starting seeds in pots and stuff. It's all in ground where they're going to live their life out, which yes, it probably makes it harder because more things can attack it and that sort of stuff. But it's actually bringing me a lot of joy. Oh, Hazy boy. He does like a little bit of attention, don't you, boy? That magic is actually really hitting me this year. Maybe it's because I've been so down and out that it's actually the small things that I'm really, really enjoying. Hey guys, I was just inside editing the video and I realized that it was going to go on for way too long. So I've decided to turn it into two videos. So I'll put this one up, and then in another couple of days I'll put the next half of it up. So I'm so sorry about that, but I just rambled on and I had so much to say that I didn't want it to be an extremely long video. So I've just come back on here now to finish off this one, and then to shoot another video to start off the next part. So it's in a two-part series. So big hugs until the next video.